Hello everyone, this is Stock Market Daily. Thank you for joining me today. It is April 18th, 2023. As always, this is not financial advice. Please don't copy my trading strategies because you will lose money. This is only for educational purposes. So we're looking at the SPX chart, and you can see that we had a nice big gap up in the morning. This is partly due to the fact that the banks have been coming out with earnings and they are not as bad as everyone might have feared, and they are doing okay. So, we could see that we had this nice strong run up in the morning again with major sell off, a little bit of consolidation. We closed the gap, so we had a little consolidation around this area, another sell off. Then we continued the entire day with a slight increase with higher highs and lower lows, and only to do another leg down to kind of rebuild back up and with a little rally and a sell off into the close. So, interesting day. Quite a bit of volatility just by looking at this chart, but not much. There's no news on these sell-offs, on these pops and drops. There's no news. It's just the way the market is performing prior to earnings, I'm assuming. And surprisingly, it's not really reflected in the option price. So the options have been really, the IV has been really low, and the VIX has been low, and selling options is becoming more and more difficult as we're kind of staying at this higher range for longer and longer and hitting kind of new highs. So with that, I only sold one put today, and that was a 41.25. And in the morning, when I saw that we've gapped up so much, right? We had a large gap up, but something didn't look right to me. And one of the things that I look at is, I look at my flex grid here on the TD Ameritrade, and I see, these are the major components of the SPY, and I'm seeing that, it's a little bit hard for you to see here, but for example, Apple in the morning, we had a gap up and a strong run up. However, looking at Microsoft, we did have a gap up as well, but it started selling off, right? So it wasn't in agreement with Apple. Then we had Amazon, obviously also it gapped up, but it ended selling off in the morning. NVIDIA, much like Apple, we had a gap up and started a nice little rally here. And then we had Google, which did not gap up, but we did kind of go down really quick and started having a nice little rally in the morning as well. So pretty much confusing. These guys are not agreeing with each other on which ones are going up, which ones are going down. But one of the major ones I was looking at in the morning was the advanced decline line. And the advanced decline line was just slightly above what it was at yesterday's close. And that gave me a little bit of a clue indicating that there's not that many stocks that are actually advancing from yesterday. However, we are way higher compared to yesterday. So we had this sell-off. You could see a little bit of red over there. We had this sell-off, which was, it lasted only for a few minutes and then it started to climb up. However, once again, when we started this, we climb up, regardless, there was not that many stocks. Typically, if you look at this chart long enough, you'll see that, about 1,200 to 1,400 or so is the number that you would typically see with a morning like today, when we had such a large gap from yesterday's close to today's open. I just didn't see that. So when we started selling off here and I started seeing these continuous red candles, my confirmation was correct that we're probably not going to hit new highs after that initial new high, and we're going to sell off. And that's pretty much what happened. We had this really big sell off, right? We closed the gap and we had another, we sold off into yesterday's kind of consolidation level right here. If you draw a trend line, it'd be almost perfect right there. So with that, I only sold one option on the put side, which is 41.25, and for that I collected, I believe it's 125, yeah, $125. So only one option. I thought that maybe this sell-off could continue, and I actually ended up placing another option or another order somewhere in the 41.10 area, I believe it was, which was for a minimum of $200, but it just never filled. I was a little bit too late. I didn't catch the very bottom, and I just left it and never got filled, so I ended up canceling later in the day. But majority of my premium today came from rolling my trades, and I decided to, like, once again, while I'm rolling my calls. If you watched the previous episode, I've been rolling them since last week, which is not ideal whatsoever. You always want to, well, I always want to end up in cash. I don't want to have any positions overnight. However, since I'm trapped, here's what it looks like for tomorrow. Since I'm trapped on some of these positions, I have to roll it. I'm not going to roll it full. I'm not going to take a loss on it. I'm not going to roll it for a loss. I'm going to roll it, and I'm going to collect some premium. So since I only collected $125 on this one, I decided to pretty much collect as much premium from the call side rolling at the end of the day. So I had a 41.30 position, which was right here. At the end of the day, we took a leg down, and I ended up taking that opportunity to roll it into tomorrow for 41.35. So this position went into 41.35 for tomorrow, and for that I collected $225. Then I had two options that were for 41.40, which were right here, and those were rolled for tomorrow for 41.45. Okay, so from 41.40 to 41.45, and for each option I collect $275. Finally, I had the 41.50, which is this one, which was right on the cusp of being out of the money finally. However, we still we had that little pop in the right before market closing. So we had one of those, and I decided to roll that into 41.60. So from 41.50 to 41.60, and I collected a premium of $400 on that. So here are the positions for tomorrow. That's where I am going to be for tomorrow. And I do have another, so here I have four, one here, two here, and one here. So total of four options. I can sell another one. I do have one that I purchased that's expiring. I have a total of expiring on the 27th of five. Total of five expiring on the 27th, which I sell these ones against. And I do have the opportunity to sell another one. However, I'm not going to sell it because these are trapped. Had these been not trapped, I would have been selling all five of them. But since these are trapped, I don't want to put myself in a position, especially during the earnings season, where all of my calls are trapped, right? I also have a few credit spreads that I opened on the call side, which is here, ending on May 5th and ending on May 11th. So I don't want to be, if the market decides to start going up, I definitely don't want to be in a position where I have way too many options and be over leveraged on the call side. So we did have Netflix report earnings today. And, if you're holding Netflix, sorry, but what I'm about to say, but I was really excited when I saw the stock drop. The stock ended at 33.70, and right at the end, the stock dropped to $292. So a huge haircut, literally two candlesticks to hit that low. I assumed that I was going to finally be able to get rid of these calls tomorrow, that the market's going to have a little bit of more implied volatility. There's going to be more of a move on the VIX. that we're going to finally start seeing some premium coming back into these SPX options. However, they bid it back up. They bid it back up right now. It's at $331.70. So not much of a move. I don't know if there's going to be, we have many more. We have Tesla and others reporting as well. So there's going to be some fluctuations in the market, but Netflix is the first one, right? It's the first one for the tech companies. And it may be a non-event whatsoever. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Looks like their call already started and it's probably ended already. And not much movement since the call. So it may be a non-event. Kind of sucks for these guys that are trapped. If actually Netflix starts continuing higher from here, it might be a signal for the rest of the tech stocks to, start going up again. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. So I appreciate you guys watching. Today's total with, and this is all because of the rolls, 1,300, because I only collected $125 on the put, right? So everything else was due to the fact that I was rolling. And I know a lot of people will sell iron condors and things like that. And when the trade goes against their way, they will take loss. And right now in this environment, it's even harder to do those because in order to collect any type of premium, you really have to be close, right next to where the market is trading. You have to be somewhere within a few strikes of it. So you're really exposing yourself to a lot of potential loss for a small amount of premium. And this is why I do this type of strategy, is because I don't have to sit there and watch the market like a hawk, number one. Number two, if it does move against me, I can continue the trade for, it's been a week and I'm still making money off it. I'm not taking any losses. So anyway, appreciate you watching. We'll have another video here tomorrow. Should be interesting. It should start getting interesting with more earnings coming up. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.